Hey, Tinman here. Poor connection. I might have to put it up here. I'm just gonna do some shuffling around. I don't know if anybody is out there or not. See how I'm going to try to put this. One person's out there. Peace out or peace in. See if this works for you. My studio's kinda here. How about if I put it here? Just trying not to be hard on my neck. Hey, Bigfoot Sasquatch, the outlaw himself. So, how's everybody? How is everybody? You know, it's late in the evening for me. I know it's probably the same for other people or whatever, but you know, I'm just grumpier in the evening, so I'm just putting that out in the forecast. So yeah, I kind of got us barricaded in here a little bit. It helps with the noise. Oh, I got my window open on that side a bit. I think I'll shut it. There we go. Yeah, late for you too, eh, bro? Cool, cool. So just chilling and yeah, I thought I would do a question and answer thing if anybody had any questions or maybe even any comments we could talk about. Hey Mary, temperature's good. It's not bad. I don't know what it would be, but you know, I'm not wearing long johns, so. But I have adjusted myself, I think, on being able to be a little bit colder. But yeah, it's not cold. It's pretty nice. Wet. Hey, Shoddy, how's it going? Light there too, eh? I hear, yeah, probably later there. Where are you? It's only, well, it's the 8 p.m. You obviously know that here. I don't know how close I was to my 8 p.m. I didn't really look. Thanks for the thumbs ups, guys. Really appreciate a thumbs up. Doesn't puts me kind of in your like section. It doesn't make a big deal with YouTube. It really doesn't. But it does help whoever you're giving the thumbs to. So it's like just moving them on the scale up a little bit where somebody's kind of almost recommending it, but it doesn't really reflect on you. So I myself, I'm a big thumbers. I lots of times will go on and thumb a person, and then I go through comments and I'll see if people are saying nice things, and I'll thumb those lots of times. And because you guys got to get back into it, man. It's about the encouragement of goodness. It's about the encouragement. I encourage my kids to be good. I don't ever encourage them to get even. My dad never taught me to get even, or I would have fought, I would have fought a lot more. So it wasn't, he knew what I was like, so he couldn't go there anyways, but it's the proper way anyway. So, you know, encourage good. You know, don't repeat wrong answers. Only repeat the right answer. That's one of my biggest, you know, self-awareness things is I always just try, you know, I always try to teach that to my kid. No, you know, you try to do it in your nice ways, not beat him down or whatever, but I would always try to do that. No, don't repeat that answer. Just repeat now this new answer that we both understand, or you understand, or whatever's going on there, right? Shawty made a music video, did you? Or Tin Man made a music video? No, I don't make music videos, man, unless you're talking about just that, you know, me horsing around a bit there. Hi, Tin Man, Victoria, Leo. How's it going? Victory, I mean. Sorry about that. But Leo you added on there, I think, didn't you? Getting the masculinity, you know, out. GA. So... Oh yeah, the one I did earlier, eh? It was pretty good. Well, that's what you guys. Okay, I missed that comment there. Yeah, it was just. I can't remember now which one it was. Right, I do a lot of videos, so So shoddy, good dear. Right on, shoddy. Or for shoddy. So, throw out a question. Think of a question first and try to, if any of you really relate with or can't relate with something to do with me, not something you necessarily understand about Bigfoot, try to learn something new today. And the reason you come to my channel, hopefully, is in part because I'm different. I'm way different. I'm not different. Well, I'm different. Everybody's different, right? But I'm talking about in the sense my research really is different. I cannot find another human being that states so many things that I'm stating. So that's what I want to be challenged on. I want people to say, hey, Tinman, how are you able to say this? How do you think this happens? Or whatever type thing. And that way I can explain to you how I came across the information too and stuff, and I can tell you some of the processes, because if you actually, like I've said on some of my other videos, if you went back to day one and you started watching every video, you will grow with me. I grew that whole time, and it's noticeable. Might have to be pointed it out to people to notice that, because that's a technique in learning, but it is noticeable. And it's not quite the same thing as watching just a personality. So don't get hung up on my personality. Get hung up on the information I'm trying to tell you and question it. Feel free to question it. If you're not questioning it, then, maybe you're just being drawn, not in the practical sense or something. So you guys hear me? I'll check it out. Thank you, sis. Oh, you're welcome. Hello, Mr. Personality. Yeah, right. Whatever. Please, no. You'll make me blush and make my job harder. Whoops. Are you a researcher of anything else other than Bigfoot? You know what? I'm a researcher in life. Our academic style of schooling, I couldn't do well in that. But I knew how to figure out how to fit in. And I think that's why I got in a lot of trouble when I was a kid, because I would do these tests. And I remember this one time, a parent come into my house. I'm like, I think it was probably grade 4, but there's a slight chance I might have been grade 5. But I think I was in grade 4. Anyways, and the parent comes to my house. And I'm just seeing some stuff moving around and stuff behind me. What's that going on? Just the lights and the shadows and stuff. Okay. Anyways, so I'm at my house. It's in the evening time. Doorbell goes or whatever. I don't know if I answered the door or not, but I remember standing back from my dad, and my dad's at the door. Another parent there. The kid is with the parent and stuff, and the kid's had ratted me out to his dad, and so on and so forth. Well, the weirdest game. I don't want you to go the wrong way with this. This was a game for a little kid. A little Scottish kid with red hair and had to deal with life however he did up until this age. Older siblings, 2 of each, and a lot of cousins. And yeah, we were pretty tough and cool people, and, into life and into outdoors and into doing a lot of activities. So, rugged kid. Anyway, so I guess what I was doing at one point, coming home from school or something like this. Anyways, you know how a road lots of times got the slope like that, and you got the ditch or whatever you got on this side. I don't think it was so much a ditch. Anyways, I was kind of controlling a kid, and this is a crazy story. I'm telling you guys, okay? So you remember this for credibility and stuff, right? Anyway, so this kid is kind of not in a ditch. I don't recall it being a ditch. Anyways, what I'm doing is I'm skipping rocks off the road. Knowing I'm not going to hit the kid. Like, I had brothers that would do stuff to me, and it was always technique, and it was always getting better, and it wasn't necessarily I was being beaten down. It was like this kind of a thing. So in a way, it's probably just really trying to scare the crap out of the kid, just like my brothers might have been doing, but I wasn't going to hit him in the face or anything like that. I would throw, you guys get what I'm saying. So anyways, and I totally remember my dad even accepting that answer. My dad was a pretty tough guy, and when he would get mad at you and give you discipline and stuff, trust me, man, his hands were not like this, and they were much larger, or still are. I was just out with him the other day. He's still much larger. He's 81 now. He just turned 81, and the strength he had in them was I swear, probably twice the strength that I could ever crush on something. He was like, he's an incredible man. But anyways, so you didn't like to get in trouble. Anyways, I recall on this one, it was just that talking to or whatever, and him just pointing out, him listening to me, heard, what an idiot kid, you don't do that with kids, you maybe tease them and whatever kind of thing, right? But so, there's me putting some information out there, what kind of an ape I was. So I hope you enjoy that. And it's funny because this thing just keeps flashing and flashing all the time. Research of truth. Life always appears to boil down to the people involved. Understanding humanity. There's a studio imho. I don't know what that is, that imho. There's a studio. But I get what you're saying. That's right. Bingus, how's it going? So one thing I did want to bring up, this is something that you could look up in the news however you choose to do it. I don't know if there's anything on YouTube reflecting it yet, but there was this dog walker. I'm just going to go on approximate times. About a week, 10 days back, something like that. At 2 p.m., this dog walker was reported missing with 3 dogs. One of the dogs are boxers, and the reason why I point that out was a boxer, and I believe it was a male. One of the reasons why I point that out is because you got to bring personality always into these. When there's a lost case, bring the personality of the human being into it too, and that will help you maybe on your search of trying to think how they would think in a breaking down situation, right? So what you got basically is you got a boxer. Boxers are hyper dogs. When they get worked up, they can't think very good or anything like that. You got to remember that. And a male one can be pretty aggressive, but they can also, just like anything, have the shit's being scared right out of them. So this lady's out there dealing with 3 dogs on leashes. One of them might have been a lab and stuff. Anyways, very familiar with the dog, very familiar with the trails, all that kind of stuff. She lots of times has 5 dogs and does that walk, I guess. Anyway, so she ends up, excuse me, she ends up getting, 2 p.m. They're looking for her, it's called in, or whatever type thing. She ends up missing for close to 48 hours is what I kind of figured out. I don't know that for sure. It's kind of just something from a couple of the points I heard. And she did show up with her 3 dogs. I heard from that. I talked to a reporter recently, and that reporter told me, with her assistant there, that yeah, she's found and she's healthy and stuff. I haven't read it up in the newspaper. I haven't looked into it or anything like that. But I do have my conclusions with it, my understanding of what went on there. Because like even sitting with my dad, when I visited with my dad yesterday, right? I said to him, Dad, I said, think about it. I said, a woman or a person with 3 dogs on 3 leashes, she's not going to let them loose or whatever type thing. She probably held or whatever she had to do. These dogs got messed up in the head somehow and just something was spooking them, whatever. She's freaking out because she's not comprehending what is going on with the dogs. And I don't mean freaking out or whatever, but something is off. It could be small draws, it could be drastic. We'll find that story out from the woman to see if any of it can conclude towards me. So it can be pretty soft and subtle in such a way that I think some people might come out of it not really knowing what was going on like this, remember? But to me, that would, if you're at all going like that, then you're being messed up just in such a sneaky way to lose your way so well into the in the forest and such. And this is a trail program. This is a part of Coquitlam, British Columbia, where it's really well trailed and stuff, which reminds me, I'm going to get a drink here. And I just have you guys off just for now, so it's not flashing, okay? Just while I tell this little bit here. So anyways, because you think about it. think about, and this is the easiest part, and we got a lot of leaf system and guaranteed. That's one of the things I was thinking about. I'd like to make a journey out to where this all went down and just do my own report on the area. But anyways, so leaves, huge amount of leaves, and I bet you that's how they were so much just fooling our search and rescue teams and so on and so forth. It was probably ended up being a good team for the 48 hours or something, I don't know. And so you think about what a mess these dogs would be doing, because these dogs would whatever type thing. She ended up, I guess, camping. She would have, must have slept, laid down nice and warm with the dogs and stuff, and maybe had a comfortable night, safe night. They might have gave her room because they got her clear. But now, so this is what happened, is most likely I would imagine the first day there was a helicopter right away out there doing all this stuff or whatever, and this lady had gotten that far away from whenever. Maybe she left at 9 a.m., you guys. I don't know that part of it, and had been walking for many hours or whatever, and so on and so forth went on. I don't know. I just say they mess up, like I've said it before with the mushroom pickers and such, and people. They do. I listen to them. They play head games with me all the time. I play head games with them all the time. But my head games are received differently and so on and so forth because they are so much in research mode. I'm in research mode, but I'm on a different level of research mode because I know they're there and they don't know that I know they're there. That could be even part of what they're trying to figure out in their research. So, unbelievable heavy stuff, guys. Like, unfreaking believable. Like, it's just, I don't know if people really get it. Woohoo! That felt good, saying. So, questions. Remember, we're going to figure out that then. Okay, have you ever run into a dogman thing? I have no clue what a dogman thing is going to be like. That's Lindsay. So I don't know, Lindsay. And what do you think that thing is? That thing. And then Shoddy, Miss Lindsay, they are aliens. Straight up, sis. And they travel as orbs. That's Shoddy saying that. Mingus is saying interdimensional beings. Lindsay saying, I cannot wrap my head around anything other than pure flesh and blood. I hear you on that, Lindsay, big time. I really cannot. You've been close or something, eh, Lindsay? I am not saying it wrong, but I cannot get my head around that. Saying it's wrong. So in other words, she's saying she's not supporting you guys or whatever type thing on if they could be something else, but she's not getting her head around how they can't be like that. That's the same with me, Lindsay, and I'll tell you the reason why on that in a big way. Because I know I've been with these guys tons of times. It's not my fault that people can't connect with the many, many different pieces of them on my videos. Or at least on my first face-to-face. If you're not coming out of there going, wow, that's almost as amazing as Patty, but different, and maybe to some, I think it's just as amazing as Patty's footage, but way different. And the reason is because of all what went on there also. So all went on with Patty's full story is the remarkable part. All went on with my story is the remarkable part on connecting there. So see my first face-to-face. If you're not getting something, then there's too many people telling me what they see there now. So I know people get what I see. So it's not like some kind of a figment of my imagination that I am at all coming up with, even with my big, my big mail or whatever, where I call that one and stuff. So whatever I'm saying with that, then I'm also saying that Lindsay, I'm kind of, with Lindsay on that, where I can't get my head. Oh yeah. So what I was going with that was people who connect them with UFOs. I've been around these guys like these couple of videos that I'm adding up, and I'm telling you guys, they're making all these barking, and you can hear all these barkings, and these dogs supposedly will not come out after me. I did it in the daytime. I know on that daytime video it's kind of crappy, but you know what? I didn't want to turn them off. You guys got to understand, I have to make choices on this end too. So to make that perfect for you guys, it would have been grabbing my other camera or something, putting it up on the roof, stuff like that. And then maybe all of a sudden, doot, silence and ruin for me. And I'm in the mood. So you got to understand that too. It's certain moods for doing this. You can't be in an off mood and go out there and push with these guys. And as soon as I got up this morning, they right away started with cricket noises and stuff. If you hear me talking about the cricket sticks, they are a big, big difference than cricket. And they are also much different than a frog. But there can be probably some similarities in some frogs, but they distinctly stand out when you start to have more interactions with these cricket stick noises. And I always just kind of get that when I'm thinking of them. It really is like a but sounding better than what I would do, because it is but it can be sometimes really clicky. Maybe really clicky is the word I'm looking for there. Thank you so much, guys, for all the views and the thumbs ups and stuff. I really appreciate it. So we're back up here. I'm just going to check and see. Where were we? Hello from the UK. Hello, Welsh Witch. How are you? Not alone. That's right. Okay, I get you. Granted, and this is Lindsay saying, granted, I have never experienced anything like that. I look for orbs, but they do not show up for me. And then Richard, hey Richard, is saying they do not have to be supernatural to be beyond our comprehension. It depends what you're talking about. Like our comprehension, we're comprehending them. They've been hiding from us. And because we're starting to figure out how to connect and comprehend on that. And at the same time, a newer generation, I believe, is not having as much of a problem exposing themselves. There's something also on their edge. They're doing it so much with me vocally. That's a language. If I just seen them, that's a physical language. I will have a lot more understanding of what they are by physically just looking at this being. So they're doing these vocal language. They're doing certain levels of physical language when they break with us and tapping and whatever kind of stuff. Imitation language in itself, you know, these fake cricket sticks, faking dogs, faking coyotes, faking chickens, faking streams. There's things, I've been in spots where I really believe that they will fake noises along with the vehicles, and the noises they try to fake are obviously going to be not obviously, but in many of those cases, because, when they're doing a dog thing, then that's why I changed up on that a bit there. So, and I know I'm not the easiest guy to follow all the time, but, sometimes my answer is satisfied in my head and I don't put the whole thing out. So I apologize. So don't be afraid to get me to go back to it maybe and rethink that and tell you a different thing. Or tell you what I was thinking there. I turned off for a second, eh? Yeah, it went to poor connection. I'm going to open that window again a little bit there. I think that might help. And it also just gives me some fresh air. Well, the Dogman is just horrifying to me. And I cannot accept that they exist. I don't want them to anyways. Okay, I hear you, Lindsay. Victory is saying, have you ever run across little people in the woods? I don't mean midgets. No, I have not. Not that I am aware of. What are dogmen? I don't know. I have an idea. I have no idea, Lindsay. I'm going back into poor condition there a little bit, but I have no idea what a dogman would be other than they must look like a dog. But I do have a theory on Bigfoot being able to trip people out a little bit, and I'll tell you why. It's because when I first started this thing, and you can tell me if you've ever heard this before, but basically, we got our foot. We kind of got our break in our foot. You know, if we were a very flexible candy wrapper in the shoe, if we were a really flexible, athletic type kind of person, this is what I picture in our mind. That if a ballet lady, you know how they can bend their feet and they go like that? Well, to me, that's what I'm referring to as the kind of the arch then, okay? But if you really look into the structure of a human's foot, I believe we actually have 3 or 4 arch kind of a system or something like that. But we're really talking about just this thing that kind of leaves a mark in the sand, and if you're a real athletic person, you could probably go like that and do a pile of sand there. Well, when I first started looking at these guys, where, you know how our toes even go on an angle there or something like this, I guess it would be this way here for this in particular shoe. I cannot say for sure. Okay, let me just get into it. That's when I was discovering they have two. What I was discovering there, the most common size, if I remember correctly, was a size 9 approximately foot. And I believe I came across 14 a number of times in there, but 9 I think was the most common. It will be on my videos. But anyways, and also on those videos, I talked a lot about a break here directly. And it's weird because so many times it was directly, almost as direct as this line shows right there, just directly what you would think was the back heel. And it was never huge in length. It was always so, this thing here made it almost appear stubby a little bit, like it was like this, instead of like, you know, almost like we would think it would want to pull towards the center or something. So very direct, and whatever that is there. And then this one here, and this one here I believe almost goes kind of on an angle with the toes like that. So my theory then is, now the dog man, if you think about it, how everybody says that dog man walks, you think about it, these creatures, these Bigfoots, the big male that I have, where I'm looking at his face and stuff, he looks like a baboon kind of a creature to me or whatever in that realm. Is he a dog man? Maybe he is. Is he a Bigfoot? Maybe he is. Is he just funny looking? Maybe he is. Can he flex his feet like this? Maybe he can. They trip people out. So in other words, if they're going to be seen and they are doing some, like I'm telling you all the time, guys, these guys are always just using dogs as one of their biggest tricks. And now they somehow are doing this because I don't know how they would figure that out to look kind of like a dog walking on hind legs or something. Haven't gone past just bringing that look together to actually see it in a picture. So if anybody wants to draw a Bigfoot doing a little trippy footstep like that, do a break by the toes, a break at the back heel, and try to see how a dog, and then do it with a dog standing on his hind legs and see if there's a resemblance there, because the dog, when he's just standing on that little pad and then that other section that comes up and it's almost like an elbow there, and he's even got that little dew claw there or whatever's going on there, right? So trippy. Thanks a lot for the thumbs who are still giving me thumbs if you can. Hello, Mary. So where are we here? Did that make sense? Anybody like that? Is that a waste of talk? Okay, Bingus, I agree to a degree. This is Lindsay, I've seen. Okay. Okay, zapped. Okay, so Shoddy is saying, I've seen them pretty close, even been zapped. Now I only catch them cloaked. Aware of Shoddy bro. Bio, or boy. Shoddy boy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, I'm doing lots of burping here. But I'm not sure why what this zap thing's about either. Sorry, Shoddy, on that one. You know, not that you, whatever with this, sorry maybe, right? But I just don't, I'm not connecting with that one. Lindsay's saying, well, the dog man is just horrifying. Yeah, I don't want to. Okay, I guess I had missed Shoddy there. Have you ever run across little people? No. What are dog man? Jeez, you see that? But at least I went back and caught that one. Do you see trackers? Or do you see tracks where they might be quadruped traveling on all fours? Quadruped traveling on all fours? No. I always calculate in that and try to figure out, because I come across, who's saying that, Mary? Because fake owl calls for sure. And I've heard it from other people too. In that one where I'm showing this, where I don't remember the video, but it's the 64th clan group, and I'm coming up to that one tree and I get within 20 feet of it or something. I make 3 stages coming closer towards that tree, and you can hear the kids playing in the background there. Well, a guy from that area is walking behind. You just don't hear it all because he walks behind a huge tree, and part of what his comment, or when I asked him a question, he didn't respond. That's what it was. But he mentioned the night before the owls were going crazy in there, and I'm just like, I don't, I can't, like, even in his comment, he asked me, is seeing much? And it's like, I'm not going, yeah, this tree here is full of Sasquatch, I think. It is what it is. But I actually think sometimes that this is just this is just about that slow process. There's always a slow process, especially when it's insane, right? You guys punch in, you guys try to follow anybody who's talking about Bigfoot having anything to do with tree growth, tree farming, food supplies. A lot of people now are connecting with the corn part of it. I've talked about them even being busted for stacking their corn all like this, not in a log pile. And it was a big pile of corn like that. And the farmer, his only thought was raccoons. And it's like a raccoon doesn't bring a family of 30 to do their feast, and they don't clean it right to the cob from tip to end, right? And do this kind of tidy up on it, in either the bears. But anyways, fracking, rock breaking. You guys, I just recently put up a video, and I so urgently urge you to look. It's kind of, I don't remember what I call it, but it's got green where you can see the base of a bridge, and it should have that green. It's going to be the moss in it. Like, they do so much moss exchanging. Other people are probably coming across the program now where they're starting to see, hey, how come this moss is loose from here? It looks like some has been peeled away, and it's because it's part of their farming, right? And they'll put it on our cement things. They'll put it on our stuff. They'll go and fill little cracks like this. Anyways, so on this in particular bridge structure, that part of the bridge, I don't know, could be 80 years old or something like that. You look at it and it's very, very good condition. And they're starting to scribe cracks in it. I've showed a piece of corner concrete to the world where I got up close, and I still have it, where we can see that there is some scribing along that piece of concrete before it was chosen to however break off. And because it's from a cement, 44,000 pound block cement, so it's got a corner like this then, right? So basically what they did was they diagonally went across here, diagonally went down to here, diagonally went down to here. So it's just a 3 pyramid kind of thing like that. So it's really interesting, and it's so beautifully broken. Not that it's perfect, followed the lines or whatever, but that helps give us a proof. So river problems, dike problems, tearing down dikes. So bridges, with what the problem with that, you guys, is concrete is such a solid object that once it forms, once it becomes full 28-day beyond kind of its impact thing or whatever, it can keep increasing in structural strength for many years and stuff, they say. But its full out thing is 28 days. Water will not penetrate it unless water somehow is being accepted into it. penetrating. Now, so you turn around and you crack it. You guys know. You got to crack anywhere in your car, the water's going to figure it out and it's going to get in here or whatever type thing. We always have water issues. So now this cement has a water issue because it has a crack in there. And yes, that crack continues to go deeper. If you actually follow these guys, you'll start to realize, wow, these guys are amazing how they can get that. Like that piece I just described to you on this corner. How did they get those 3 scratches? And there might even not be all 3 sides they done. But how did they get those to connect through that piece and make it pretty damn nice triangular? Yes, I will show my my nice little box here very soon. I've been talking about it so many times now. I'm going to show all my objects in there. But anyways, so now they're scratching on there. Steel becomes diseased by rust. It's not like rust is just, oh, there's a little bit of rust on there, you guys, just go wash it off or whatever. Rust is like cancer to us. We might as well just say that that's what's happening to steel. It's under a cancer program now. And what that cancer will do is will just keep eating that steel. It will only spread. It can only spread, and that's what it will only do. These guys are that intelligent that they know they just have to do certain types of cracking on and that. And when you look at that video, just kind of look at it. You almost see the powder on it. And yes, I will return to that site. But a beautiful, beautiful other piece of information about that site is there's that big tree there. That big tree has been sitting there for over a year. I checked, over 12 months that tree has been sitting there on that clay, where maybe some of those rocks might even show that they've moved and stuff like that. But guaranteed, many, many different places on the river, different corners, in corners, out corners, sides, whatever type thing, rocks are falling away. They're blah, 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 or whatever. And this tree sits there for 12 plus months. And that's that one, because I went up there and I said, hey guys, this is them. That was when I was really coming into their crafty cutting on logs, and I still to this day will find out if it's a type of nail like this doing that score, if you know the piece of wood I'm talking about, right by the bridge, right on the water. It's I call it with maybe a fingernail, I call it maybe with just some teeth, I call that, because so many times I'm picturing a claw that's going to be like that bone that got cleaned out. So different beings, maybe. But if there's different beings, then I'm going to say that I've maybe only noticed with all the scratches and all the cuts and all these different things, which has been hundreds and hundreds, scrapes, different things like this, and all those that I've calculated together to be of these creatures, all of the ones that I've calculated to be together that they would go with hands and not feet, all of those ones that I've done, I've come up with thinking that they could be a similar nail like this, but longer, strong, coarse, and you can use it like that, right? And I've come up with a claw like this. So different times, I don't remember the reason exactly why I would talk about retractable claw. But retractable claw I've talked about, and then just recently I was watching about a bunch of mountain lion things and just looking at their big claws coming out, and they're pretty damn big. And, you know, that's just wicked that a lion has that. You guys want a wicked experience? Punch into YouTube, probably, I don't remember the name, but like the biggest kangaroo out there. Biggest jacked kangaroo, something like this. This guy standing there, he's feeding this kangaroo and stuff. And when you stand there and you look at its head, almost like a deer, and then you look at this thing, and I kid you not, it's like it's sitting there and it's just jacked like this, and it's able to take the food. He's not being rough or anything, and blah blah blah. You look at the feet, you look at all that stuff, and you just think, what a remarkable creature. You look at a baboon. They're not, you know, they don't really in a way look like they should be from Earth almost. You know, that's what we're looking for, is just something that doesn't look like it's supposed to be from Earth. Has a past that it didn't want to share with us, and now maybe is thinking about breaking through with that. A couple of things with that, maybe they're being forced to break through. Part of the reason I think that is because they're wanting to be closer to us for some reason. They like us. They don't feel that we're going to be killing. I don't know, because they growl at people. But they're forcing themselves maybe to come closer. Maybe because I've said before there's a population problem. So in other words, no birth control. Multiple births. A bear can have cubs every 3 months. I mean, every 3 years, let's just say. For sure, a bear could be having cubs every 3 years. She's born, she's 3 years old, cubs, 3 years again, cubs, 3 years again. Lots of bears have twins and triplets. I think the twin is the most common with the black bear. So what we're doing is we're bringing animals together. And we're thinking about them with all this different species stuff that we see out there. I look at a hyena, yeah, that's how you say it, and I kind of see that it's a structure partly from baboon, partly from lion when you look into their paws and stuff. Not that I know the claw system on a hyena's claws, so I can't say that, but just the size of their thing, it almost looks like a paw, like a tiger's paw. And like some kind of wild dog or whatever kind of a beast like that. Like it's things that have just been mixed at one time, and now they're these things, right? And so we got something out here that's mixed. So let's go into somebody's question. So where am I here? I seen all that. The fake owl, seen all that. Shandy Bow, yep. Bigfoot can walk tiptoe. Yeah, I'm not talking tiptoe though, hey Mary? But for sure they could walk tiptoe, I would say. Yeah, dogs walk on their tongue. Okay, so Tinman, what I film is real. Shoddy is saying okay. Why do my Bigfoot look so different? So Shoddy is saying his Bigfoots look different. Well, tell me what one of yours looks like, Shoddy. I gotta apologize because I haven't. And give me the name of the one that you want me to most look at, okay? Because there's, you know what? There's one thing that I've noticed, Shoddy. I've gone on to a number of different guys' things. You know, chumming like the weird like this and stuff, and told them straight up information, and gone back on previous times to check it out and stuff, and seen that they don't even relate with it. Like they don't. Like the one guy, I'm not going to mention his name, can't really remember it, but it's all about this monkey, or this guy that's up in the trees way back there like this. And like we're talking way back there in between some trees like this and stuff. And you get to see him, you know, where he comes out. You get to see him as his head's on this side. You get to see him where you can 100% tell if you're, I would imagine if I was sitting with a whole bunch of researchers and I was able to just circle it, you know, 90% of them would say, yeah, pretty quick, wow. And so you don't know how people don't see it, and then you do a whole really good explanation, and they still don't find it and stuff. And so, yeah, so I'm going with that, Shoddy. You know, sometimes I don't know. Let's see what you have anyways. Hello, Tinman Bonnie. Miss Bonnie Sharp. So I'm coming back here. Find out. So Shoddy was which? Yeah. It's a nice show, man. 9 people, 7 thumbs up. Thanks very much for the thumbs up. I like to repeat to people that the thumbs up isn't really doing anything where it's a record for you or anything like that. It does come onto maybe onto your liked files, but you can always control your liked files. You don't have to have even a like file if you don't want to. But I like to encourage people that thumb is really important to whoever you're viewing. If you at all support them, it's really important, and it's not doing something weird for your channel or something. Most people on most channels anyways, or very many of them, it's a drag. It really is a drag for us people sitting on this side when it's hard to tell how real you are or not. Okay, so Derek is here. Tinman finally made it. Hey, right on. Yeah, that's right. You were here earliest too, Derek, earlier there. Asking what time. Cool, man. Glad you showed up. Bigfoot don't need to be interdimensional. No, interdimensional, you know the word, and used mind speak, etc. They don't need to, okay, to be beyond our amateur curiosity. I appreciate Tin's personal curiosity, professional curiosity. But anyways, so thank you very much for that then. That was Richard. You know what? The thing is, Richard, or whoever, because I'm not exactly grasping what you're saying, but I think you're kind of rocking on the thing saying it could be either way and it's up to them. Excuse me on that. I think I'm getting a bit of a sore throat. Anyways, so I wanted to say, oh shit, where was I going with that? Interdimensional stuff. I was with the big male. Maybe I'll do. I did the other day that first face-to-face little breakdown. Did that suck? Was that not enough? Do you guys not see that there's a little junior Bigfoot sitting pretty much in the middle on the second half of the video? Always remember to do that with my videos. If you're getting bored, jump ahead. You know me, I constantly can change a subject, and there might be something, I'm sorry, but it's the way it is. Here we go. So, interdimensional kind of stuff. UFO stuff. UFO. What's this other? Cloaking. Different things like that. I sat there. Now when I analyze the video, I have two different cameras. On the one camera, it's very short, but he's in that camera. You know my two cameras. I got that orange one and basically always a cell, and it was this cell. Anyways, so I got him on two different cameras. Shows up 100%. And the exact same. Exactly the same. It's not like I'm in the same spots or whatever, and exactly the same. He looks exactly the same. Doing the same tricks I'm telling you I talk about later, or I know after my examination at home that he was doing with the tricks. If you ask me, not if you ask me, but in my opinion, I think in some respects he was uncomfortable sometimes. I think he might have felt time. We're talking 10, oh yeah, I didn't say that part, but I think I was there for over 10 minutes. These things I don't lock in on my memory, so I'm only around there, but I think I got him for over 10 minutes, but something like 8 minutes of video time with this guy, many different angles and stuff. He's doing this thing where he's hiding, he's got his hand on his head, does all this thing. I get to see his arm move down here. I get to see him move. I get to see this arm move off of his head. All of that stuff is 100% in a real video, real factual. You just have to be as patient as you are right now. For the few people that are sticking around here that stayed through this whole video, there's patience to do that. You gotta go do the laundry. It's late at night. I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to work in the morning, whatever. But I'm finding these facts interesting and stuff. I ain't screwing people around. I wouldn't waste your guys' time like that. That would be absolutely wrong for how I stand. So try to trust me on those things, and I will give a breakdown then on that male. I'm going to try to come in real close like this. And just show just him like this, and have it, because the pixelated on there breaks down and stuff, so we'll do my best like that. I'm not going to do one of these red line things and all that kind of stuff. Like on that other one, I started to point it out with the knife tip and stuff. I started to point out where the eyes were. The stick sits right here, you guys, where the mouth is. You never get to see his mouth because that stick that shines, it's like this. It's closer to us on the camera, filming here. and it's in the way of his mouth, but you get to make out his nose. You get to make out these two big black, they're the blackest, where I'm pointing right there, they're the two biggest, blackest things, and they're kind of teardrop shaped. He's got a bit of a side, he's like on a bit of a side view like that to me. You got the stick, whichever way the stick is rounded, because it's like this long, coming like this. The sun actually shines on it, so it does shining. Because the sun is doing a shifting there. So if you're patient and you watch all the stuff, there can be the hair minutes change. And all at the very end, when I'm saying, you know, whatever I'm saying there, thanks for hanging out, whatever type thing. You can tell I do, because I'm, you know, they're starting to do a shift and stuff, and you're feeling this pressure, you're feeling this really happening here, and you're filming this thing and stuff. So I started doing a little bit of shift, and I apologize for that, but it still is ultimate footage. It really is. Anyways, and then I kind of get it back under control. Now what you do is from 2 minutes, this is crap, I might have done that where I might have jumped from one video to another video there, so I'm just going to stop where I am. Was I, because I all of a sudden I was just describing my first face-to-face, but was I on my first face-to-face, or was I on that talking about the mail? The video really clear, where the stick. You see, yeah, so you see that, that stick then. Okay, directly there, Mary. Do you see him behind there then? Hello there, Viralist or Virals TV. How's it going? Welta, Mr. White. What do you think it would take Bigfoot to accept? Okay, so what do you think it would take for them to be to get accepted by the science community, or the government would not let it, or will the government not let it happen, you know? I sit here and I really don't understand how the government hasn't let it out of the bag that they do know. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. You know, the government, you know, for this thing to be going on. And remember, my picture of what I'm seeing, guys, is probably larger than most people's. Because I know they have to do with the trees. I watched now many different shows, and why they're, you know, why when they stop and they're in Africa or they're whatever, I'll zoom into the stuff way in the back there and stuff, and minimally I get lessons on trees. When they're, you know, I like to watch that Safari Live, you know, sometimes when they're going by some trees or something like that, I'll zoom in, and I've yet to find real good character of some cuts that I'll love to see when I do on some of these videos. But peeling techniques and all that's going on, yeah. And many times when I go look at all these different peeling techniques, guys, you go down to the ground and the bits are gone. And this tree doesn't have its old system of bark in it anymore. It's totally just this weird, like a puzzle that never worked, and you put it up on the wall and pieces are falling off. Kind of looks like that on the bark. You've all seen it now. And you look at the ground and those pieces aren't all over the ground there. Right? So there's tons of clues. It's just you don't know that clue is connected with them. I happened to luck out and got to study them almost a year straight. Or past a year straight. Like nobody else has done that. Like the Patty guys who went and seen them, they probably set up camp there and hung out there for a week or 2 weeks or whatever type thing, and then couldn't come back again until next year. Probably didn't even think to go around this forest, around his house, to see if he could do anything that connected with that or something. He always probably had that on his mind. I don't know exactly what the story is, but I know I had approximately 21 days of a story that just blew my mind, and I called them Woodsmen of the Forest. I had the hotel, the motel jungle gym set up. I had the Valley of the Sasquatch, and that's where I have my first face-to-face experience. And then another 5 acres over here, so approximately 15, 20 acres of land. But over here was like the nesting area or whatever type thing. Lots of canopy kind of beds where the trees are going like this and they're not going like this. Once you really get into the studying of trees, you'll start to realize that yeah, they're able to wake the trees up somehow. They're able to shape the trees. They're able to make them move. I've talked about them tickling them. I've talked about them injecting venom into them. I don't really understand it, but my trees that I'm hanging out around here right now, talked about them a lot last year. They got all falled apart. A number of them is through a little bit of those phony ice storms or whatever, just big limbs coming off and all that kind of stuff, and they're broken, all ugly and stuff. They're still pretty ugly, but right now, man, I have yet to make a film on them. There's 3 or 4 here that I will, and then those 3 across the way that I watch, and then there's a whole bunch. But those 3 and that one over there that I kid you not, the tree is in a round circle, you know, probably to wrap a tape around it. I don't know, let's just go with at least 4 feet, something like that, right? Well, it was totally like this. And I got it on a couple of videos, and I would say it's up to around there now, and I believe they're actually going to probably pull the thing out of it, straighten it right out. I'm just waiting for that because there's so much. It is, yeah. And what I call on that is that whole upper section came down, and that bend was even much grander than that. And that whole upper section came down here and was sitting down here, and it was 3 low trees that we would always see. And now those trees have stood up, and I do have them on video. I do have them on, but it's just my organization, right? It just, but I'm okay with that stuff. I can be hard on myself a little bit sometimes when I start to think about that. But I'm just glad that we have at least my summary of on purpose footage of stuff. Most of the other stuff, we're not going to find stuff that people are watching the forest on purpose, but we're going to be able to tell it. Go on Google Earth. I haven't tried it yet, but I would imagine you just go through Google Earth, watch out when people are driving in these certain areas or where certain forests you want to look at, and look at it, because I think I don't know about the dry road ones, but we're going to have histories of those, so those will help us, if you know what I mean, especially widespread as Bigfoot is. Okay, so any questions? Yeah, let's just go with that. Walter White. God knows it's real, Shoddy says. Tinman's old video called Bigfoot Clan in new to me and inspecting me close. 440, there's a dogman looking thing. Yeah, eh? That's Walter saying that. What video was that one? That one's the first face-to-face, Mary. Well, you know, the only thing to protect, government can't, because too expensive to protect a new species, Mary's saying. But the thing is, Mary, in all reality, where I'm talking about is we need huge security system changes. There's a lot that I can't express fully where I think this is going to. I have said it before and I say it again. There's got to be a special army or a special policing that is starting to be trained that will help govern over these people, these beings. You know, how it's done, I don't know. I have so many just different ideas, but different concepts. I have a relationship in different areas I've done a lot of work, so I just have these different things that float around in my head that believe that it's the same. Hopefully, that it's the same way they go, because we think about that. But special police or special army group or whatever, we always just think, well, then they got guns, right? And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the humane level like us. I don't carry a gun. I carry a knife and stuff like that. I carry my tools. It would be all right for people to carry tools and stuff, but there's going to be a language they have to alone learn to that to be successful. I have success for a reason, and I understand why I have success. I don't say why I have so much success. Other people out there aren't having as much success as me. If they knew more of my ways, I believe they would have more success. I don't know if it's really good for, in a way, if, you know, I'm doing this to give to the people. Like all these videos, I plan on just leaving them on YouTube forever. And people can always figure out whatever my education was in all these videos, right? But in some respects, I'd like to just shake a super being, smart human being. You know, like, what's his name? Jordan Peterson. And a group of those kind of people that are real wholesome, real people. Sure, we could get some religious scholars in there from each religious group, whatever, I don't care. But I'd really like to sit down with these guys and say, guys, believe me, and they believe me. And then say, should we be telling the people? Like, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't, what are they doing? Like, sometimes I'm walking around out there and I'm waiting, are they going to take me out today? And I'm really being like that. I'm really, I'm sometimes bothered that I know that I could disappear or just wind up dead or whatever type thing with it, just mysteriously. And my kids are just going to be going like this. I don't think it's fair to my kids because my kids haven't gotten to the spot they're going, Dad, yes, we do believe you. I do have one child that is, whatever. But I mean, that's, it's a battle for everybody to try to figure out if they believe in what we're up to, right, guys? So my kids deal with that same battle. And I just don't want, and so I'm being truthful to you guys and saying I honestly am walking around not knowing. So some days I won't walk into that bush because some people might think, oh, good intuition, you're doing the right thing or whatever. It's not about that to me. It's just going with it. It's not about necessarily always figuring out, because I don't want to... I think sometimes there's been sometimes where you're almost forcing yourself, I guess. And when you're forcing yourself, you're coming in and you're trying to look at something. Why am I being blocked? Why can't, I want to do it. I drove all the way out and I've worked through that a couple of times. I remember this now. But most of the time I'll just choose, I feel comfortable, I'm going. And yeah, I don't know. It's just life. And I've been growled at. I don't know if you guys know that video, but watch that video of me being growled at. I'll tag my first face-to-face with on this one, you guys. And I'll tag the one where I'm growled at on this video. And on the growling one, listen to it on your phone. Put your phone right to your head like that where it's good volume or whatever type thing. And then, so as soon as you push play, soon as its play is gone, then you go 1. Don't go 1 like this. So you go push 1, 2, 3, and you'll hear it like this. You'll hear the growl. You might hear a growl before I pretty much confirmed that is a growl, a little one within like a second and a half. There's a small growl, and I think they're kind of like, Rrr! And I didn't hear them, so get louder or whatever. And then I'm kind of like, I think I heard something, like it wasn't 100% thing. And then I end up hearing, excuse me, smashing of bushes. More vocalization, not super vocalization, but more in there. And then I walk across the dike. I'm confronting them for over a minute there. And near the end, when I walk away, just before I walk away, you hear another growl, and that growl, it's kind of like a growl that's trumpeted. And that growl resembles the very first growl, but not near as hard and as harsh, and it scared the shit out of me more or less, and I just decided, holy shit, I better get out of here. Pardon the language if need be. But, so I left. But that growl over here, So, get to live, got to live, only have had that threat. I've had tons of what I'm telling you guys is communication. They're barking at me. I've heard them hoofing at me, huffing at me. I've heard different things like that, but it's not at me like that guy, or more than one in that case there, I believe, did a little bit of an interaction there anyway. So look at all those thumbs up. Awesome. So do you see Bigfoot as a paranormal and spiritual being? No. Paranormal, not anymore, because paranormal is kind of what wouldn't be happening for me. Because I've seen them with my eyes, that I've got them on video, I'm listening to them, I figure that they're, as far as I can tell, they're a physical being. Do they have some kind of specialness to them? I think they might in a gravity realm of things, if that means anything to anybody. You know, I don't understand how, unless big ones really do always stay back, stay out of trees, and little ones, because you tree climbers, you know how you would climb a tree, and because you got 4 different things here, you didn't have to necessarily break any branches to climb that tree. You follow me? So there's a way that we're shifting and we're balancing out our weight and stuff like that. And if you look at monkeys and stuff, they just do it awesomely, gracefully and stuff. And they're still heavy enough where you look at the chimps and stuff, and they're wailing through the trees and pulling all on all these small branches and stuff. And it's not like they're stripping down easily and stuff like that. And, yeah, I think, they're either very special like that being, and those beings probably feel gravity different. I think there's something that... it's like us. We throw an ant off of here and the ant doesn't get hurt at all. There's some bugs and certain things that would do that same thing but do get hurt, carry a different... I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Flesh and blood, highly intelligent natural animals. Highly intelligent for sure, because we say the dolphin is intelligent, right? But intelligence needs more stuff. Hello, Annette. How are you? Yes, especially because of how widespread they are. Yeah, I believe it has to become a world organization kind of a thing very quick, because if... One thing about these guys that is going to be their awesome secret that they hold is they can just disappear again. Right? It's not necessarily that I believe that all of a sudden we're figuring out how to see them and figure them out that way. I think a lot of it is more, it's about them actually coming out like this. So in other words, they've been out there. I believe that I look at the redwood forest, and there's this guy from, the Blue Label, or that Red Bull, I think it is. And he climbs the trees. And he climbs his trees the same way these guys would, but he's not near as good as them because he's only got the hand part of it or whatever. But you look at the trees. That's why they're in part made that way. That's why, like all that barking, guys, that when you go look at the redwood trees, I'm telling you, Bigfoot's behind that. That's what I'm telling people, right? Like, that's just bizarre. It's unbelievable. But these guys, that Red Bull guy, goes up to the top of the canopy with the specialists. So exactly like I tell, I zoom into what they're because they're getting a few leaf samples and all these. There's seeds up there. They measured the tree. It was like, I can't remember, was it 700 feet? 200? I don't know. 75 meters. I can't remember. But you're way up there. Long ways up. And they're in the very top of the tree. I zoom in on those things. I swear I'm sitting there looking. This is you can see that they've been eating at them, that there's different ones that a seed is gone where it wasn't necessarily a seed stem. It was taken off lower. Look at it for yourself. Study it yourself. And people will think birds. But turn around and jump to all those trees around there, and then you're going to be going, okay, what kind of a bird is this then? And where are they right now? Because there's so many of these things gone. They should be showing signs. So, wicked. And I believe that's right. Good night, Lindsay. Take care of yourself. Take it easy out. So Lindsay's saying, take it easy out there and be safe. Gotta go fix food for dinner. Ah, dinner time, eh? Nice. I hope to see you again for sure. I like the later 8 o'clock audio, okay? Live videos. I work during the 6:30 ones. Oh, okay. Cool. Nice to know. Richard saying, see the great Bob Gimlin video about hominoid and hominin, the great apes, as opposed to the human branch. The great apes as opposed to the human branch. Okay. Bob Gimlin's highest recommendation. Okay. It's Bob Gimlin and his hominoid versus hominin video. Hey, Bigfoot Memphis, how's it going, brother? I don't know, you're coming in. I've been here for triple one time in 1 hour and 11 minutes. So I'm thinking that I was starting to think it's time to cash out. Thanks so much for the thumbs and everything, guys. Appreciate all the support. But Bigfoot Memphis, if you're into it, you could always use this as a backdrop noise or whatever. That's one thing about my videos, I say. In some cases when I'm talking, you don't have to be looking at me or anything. So just have it there and be doing your dishes, doing whatever your thing, and see if I'm saying anything interesting. See if it can somehow relate with your work, what you're doing. Especially you, Memphis. I know you're into different things too, but you do go out there in the field. So, it's doing your self-medicating, are you? Nice, good for you. Well, Sweat Shoddy is just crept over to your channel. Okay, you have some good content. You have another subscriber. Right on. I'm up early as I have work in a few hours. It's 5 a.m. now. Wow, Welsh Witch is saying it's 5 a.m. That's crazy. I'm not sure. I think we're going to be just probably about 15 minutes after 9, I guess, here, p.m. Here in Canada. Vancouver, British Columbia. Surrounded by Bigfoot. Oh, so one thing, Memphis, was, I talk about this at the very beginning of the video here. I talk about this lady who went missing and stuff. A dog walker, professional dog walker, 3 dogs, customer dogs as far as I understood. And she ended up going missing for 48 hours. The cops couldn't find her. They couldn't find a trace of her or anything like that. The search and rescue and everything. So I never really finished what I was trying to say there, but these guys just mask everything over. That's part of the specialty. So what you got to be when you're out there, I've always told this, is that you're being fooled. You're always being fooled. Never think you're not being fooled. When I was 16 years old and that dog that came out barking at me in the pitch of black and I couldn't see where he was and he did it 5 or 6 times and then just disappeared and never bothered me again or whatever, I think I was a fool. That's what I believe happened now. Because I told that story many times and never once came to a Bigfoot thought. Never once. And but I told that story at least a dozen times. Because just blew me away. Dog, all of a sudden, I just whipped off my jacket and I'm going like this. And yeah, and that, so that's where I take it now, is that was just one of the foolings. The missing woman was found alive, I was told, and the dogs also. So yeah, I think it was one night out, and, or would that be 2 nights out then? 2 p.m., so that night, yeah, 2 nights out. Monday night till Wednesday, or Monday afternoon till Wednesday afternoon, I think, or around noon or something. I don't know. I haven't heard what the dog walker had to say about anything, right? I'm looking forward to maybe seeing be neat if she, once she gets kind of stable with it and stuff like that, it'd be neat for somebody to interview her and stuff and get that level of understanding what she went through instead of the stupid news media. It's the dumbest thing. How come people don't get more connected in with people like that, where something goes down and, like the guy who almost gets attacked by the cougar and stuff, instead of just CBC interviewing them, somebody really going, sitting down and just with us average Joes having more. That's a good idea, you guys. That's a good idea. People are doing it on podcasts and stuff like that, but they're doing it with names all the time and stuff. Try to find the ones like that are just putting those stories out there. It's almost like what we do with the Bigfoot stuff, but these ones people aren't relating with Bigfoot, so they're not doing that. So, that lady went missing over, I almost talk quieter here because it's such a big deal to me, really. And I would hate to insult somebody, but that lady went missing over in Abbotsford there. That's all I'm going to say is that much of it. I would have at that time so much been able to have reached out and really said my information that I was understanding at the time with that family, whether it would have been taken kindly or not. I would have been willing to say it. I would have been willing to say, man, I'll come over there and I'll just try to show you my theories and see if we can come up with any information. I don't think we would come up with information that helps on a find, but I can come up with information that will help show the workers the searchers that are with me, my concepts when I'm searching, and also I would be able, for sure, I would bust them on some of their hides, guaranteed. So in other words, somebody today went missing. Let's just say Bigfoot had something to do with it. I believe I'm brought to that spot that I will be able to tell that they're pretty fresh there. I might be able to even tell if there was an aggressive nature in it, like quickly get out here, let's go quick, like that kind of aggressiveness. So the clean up, the tidy up and stuff like that, they get at all out of order there and aren't doing it super fine in their meticulous way. I can pick that up so well. And it's all backable. It's just that you guys aren't really standing, you don't get the 3-dimensional when I'm talking on a video or whatever type thing. Other people, like I bet you Memphis is starting to pick up on more trail stuff or whatever type thing. All these game trails we've talked about, they're not game trails. They're Bigfoot trails. Where the caribou are and stuff like that, yeah, they're game trails. There's a million caribou. Where the wildebeest are, yeah. Where the elephants are, yeah. There's lots of trails where those kind of beings are, right? But where we live, and many other countries have this mountainous range with really not much going on, and we go up in them and we find all these game trails and stuff, it's not people are running cattle out there or anything. If you go out into areas where people have a big herd of cattle, like 1,000 head or 500 head, and they only got so much range to roam and stuff like that, they will have a trail system. And that's that many animals. There's not 300 deer hanging out on this certain amount of acreage all the time. Right? There's only a few deer that are coming and going and doing whatever they're doing and stuff. There's only a few of these coming and going and stuff. Down by the river, there's only this many otters living there. Like, we really do have to just come into the practicality of it and think, does a beaver build a hut this big, this fast? Like, I was here 2 weeks ago, and this thing wasn't here, and you can see all the mud's packed in around on the top, and, you know, maybe different things like this, and you're just, you know, we're fooled by it because beavers do that kind of stuff. And you go and you look at how the beaver cut down the tree and all his bitings on the tree and stuff, and that's where we're really being fooled, because once you study into that. And the funny thing is, those wood trips that I show you guys to show you the patterns, there's usually 3 to 4 slits on them, and it could be like this, and then just break that piece out, I think, and then break that piece out. The 2 different sides end up looking different because of how the cutting works and stuff, but one side has 3 to 4 splits on it, and they're usually whatever length. Almost every piece has the cuts coming in from either side. Those are becoming what people put on Google as a beaver piece. So now you're going to say, oh, yeah? I mean, yeah, Ian? You're going to, that was hilarious. Anyways, you're going to, or Ian, you're saying that those pieces are Bigfoot pieces. Now you're going to go on to Google, and you could pull up on Google and say, no, Ian, look, these are the same slits on here, and so on and so forth. So you could actually hit confusion there. Think that I'm not right. So on and so forth. It's getting late. Time for Ian to go. A Bigfoot trail will be very pressed down. In compaction spots, for sure. You know, you could go through a marshy area and you'll find compaction in particular spots. I found where I believe that they have brought in different types of, like, maybe gravel and stuff, like light gravel, whatever type thing, and put them in different spots to help on that, so they're not necessarily getting a dunk, not necessarily leaving a press there or something like that. And that's the other thing about it. You say that they're very pressed down, and so you're talking about footprints and so on and so forth. That's why I get into some of that gravity stuff, because you probably all think about that too, is, you know, how can you all of a sudden be watching something that you think you see prints are, the feet are big, so you figure the being is big and a fair amount of weight there, and now all of a sudden those prints just stop and stuff, right? And it doesn't have to do with disappearing. It has to do with just being light on the toes. And that's another thing about it. So remember when I was talking about that, you know, where I think they can do this with their foot. That's another thing with walking like this with their toes. When they do that, it's a quick add of a couple of claw marks to make it look like a dog. It really, when they do that like that, it really can be changed into a dog paw look or a wolf or whatever very quick. Probably even maybe a big cat and stuff. So yeah, they sweep their prints away. They'll take a whole big branch, they'll leaf. They do lots. They'll fill them in with dirt. They'll pat. They'll actually, sometimes I found compacted dirt, and it's compacted dirt. Those ones are kind of mistakes. Those ones are probably where, you know, sometimes they think they're way out there or something like that, and the kids are practicing, and the kids do something silly that is too whatever, and mom doesn't think about it, whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, Switch, for sure. Take care, eh? Take care, Tinman. Go careful and love your sign. Love your sign off on every video. Okay. Peace out. Sign off, I guess. Kinda, if I remember. And the fact that they leap on rocks and logs, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, so if you think about a chimpanzee, that'd be interesting just to go look at a chimpanzee and, you know, watch one of those. I'm going to do this. We're watching videos, see what kind of distances they can jump and kind of gracefully land on another tree or something. and even down to the ground, and see how gracefully, and see how it feels as a jarred impact. You know, so when they hit the ground, how it's vibrational works and stuff like that, you know. We learn that stuff in parkour and stuff, you know, how people are doing all this crazy parkour and stuff, and people are learning all this different things, and it's all about bringing your flow in a certain way to work with gravity, I guess, and work with the flow of energy and make soft impacts. So someday, you know, those people who are doing all that kind of stuff put us ahead in 10,000 years. You know, if there's a big group of people that just start living communal like that or whatever, you know, it could be that's interesting stuff, eh? And I'm going to call her quits too, so good night, Bigfoot Memphis. Yeah, I'm going to go see Bob Gimlin myself. Gimlin, right? That's not an I, is it? That's one thing I've never thought about. I could have just done it all like that. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm going to remember to do that, guys, where I can just zoom it up and make it nice and big like that. Do I believe these things might follow the magnetic field? You know, I don't know. Good night, Victory. Victory Leo. I don't know on that. I think I never thought of it there. I've never heard of that. Like, to think like that. I've thought about migrations and stuff. I know, to me, it almost feels like I caught them on a bit of a migration to move into our area and I think stick around. That's what I think I almost caught happening. So just think, if they're an underground being, maybe they just decided to come above in this certain area. Or maybe that thing of they did have sporadic workers here and stuff, and because population is growing somewhere or whatever, they did migrate and moved a bunch into this area, and they understand those concepts of living off the land, dealing in these situations, dealing with, you know, the weather elements, the animal elements. Peace out, everybody. I'm going to head her. Okay. I hear you on that one, Memphis. I do have a compass, so I'm slurring my words and stuff. I'm out of here, everybody. Thank you so much.